In the darkness of an abandoned building, the sound of multiple footsteps echoed through the halls. The steps belonged to men clad in black suits and helmets, each carrying a firearm. They moved methodically, scanning every corner as if searching for something or someone. Suddenly, a faint movement caught their attention. Without hesitation, they pursued it. It was a human child, riddled with scars. He moved with the agility of a wild animal, desperate to escape. But no matter how fast he ran, the men were faster. With practiced precision, they threw a net over him, bringing his frantic struggle to an end. The morning light was bright, almost dazzling. It stirred the child awake, his eyes blinking against the unfamiliar brilliance. He was no longer in the dark, abandoned building. Instead, he found himself in a child protection zone atop a hill. The contrast was jarring. Everything here was foreign. The smooth, flat floor beneath him, the clean clothes on his body, the food that arrived at set times. He struggled to understand this new world. Overwhelmed, he often chose to sit alone on the hill, avoiding the other children. Whenever someone approached him, asking him to play, he would panic and react unpredictably, unaccustomed to human interaction. From inside the building, a red-haired woman watched him with a gentle smile. Turning to a maid nearby, she asked, "Can he speak?" The maid shook her head. "No," she replied, before explaining that it wasn't due to any disability. He had simply never learned how. However, he seemed to understand some words. The rescue team had speculated that he had likely grown up among animals. "It's like Mowgli," she remarked, amused. But when she noticed the maid's confusion, she laughed gently and said that it made sense that she didn't know about Mowgli. Then she added, looking outside the window in a solemn tone, "It's from a story, before he came." The bell of the orphanage rang, and the children rushed toward an adult at the center of the courtyard, their faces alight with excitement. The child was confused, looking at the adult handing out letters to some of the children as he didn't know what it was. A voice behind him broke the silence. "That's a letter from a sponsor. Sometimes they send gifts too," explained a girl his age. She continued, telling him that sponsors were adults who took care of the children from afar. With enthusiasm, she recounted stories about the other kids, about Matthew, who had received a huge toy from his sponsor and wouldn't stop bragging about it, about Lily, whose sponsor had sent her a dress with countless frills, and about Joe, who even got to speak with his sponsor. At the end of her explanation, she added with a wistful smile, "I don't have a sponsor either, but I don't need one. My mom promised to come and get me after I spend 100 nights here. I just hope she comes soon." The next day, during class, the teacher was explaining how aliens had come from the far reaches of space and had become friends with humans. But one child in the class wasn't convinced. He knew the teacher was lying, maybe because she thinks that they are babies. Confident in his knowledge, he pulled out a book he had taken from the principal's study and explained to his friends the book told a very different story. It revealed that long ago, when the aliens first arrived, humans had fought them with an immensely powerful weapon called Hayek. But the aliens had consumed it, leaving humanity no choice but to surrender. The following day, during the usual distribution of sponsor letters, the teacher called out a name that had never been mentioned before, Mori. The child looked up in confusion. Smiling, the teacher approached him and explained, "This letter is for you. You have a sponsor now." When the brown-haired girl heard about it, she was shocked. Tears welled up in her eyes and she began to cry.